Hi, I'm Rosh from Energy Matters. Welcome to our podcast, Road to Zero, where we dive headfirst into all things renewable. Join us as we chat with industry experts, tech specialists, and some of your favorite TV and radio personalities, asking the renewable energy questions that you want answers to. Our goal, a zero carbon future. Today, I'm absolutely stoked to be joining my good friend, Stephen Hill, CEO of Elite Smart Energy Solutions, also known as ESES. Stevie, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Roche. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Very well. Thank you for joining me this morning.
No problem at all.
Mate, so as I said in my introduction, this podcast is really for tech specialists, industry experts, and your favorite TV and radio personalities. And look, I don't know if you've done any radio, but you've certainly ticked the first three boxes as being an expert, industry expert, tech specialist, and now a TV star.
Yeah, no, that was it was great being on the open homes. Very
Mate,
good.
you're very, very good on it, to be fair. So well done. You did exceptionally well. So Stevie,
Yeah, the episode's this weekend, isn't it?
It certainly is. It goes to air this Saturday at 4:30 p.m. So anyone who's watching today, make sure you tune into Open Homes, and we will talk about that in a little while. I've definitely got a few questions for you regarding that. But Stevie, just to kick things off, first and foremost, can you just give me a bit of background on yourself and on ESES? I mean, when did you start the business? What made you choose to start it?
Yeah, I've been in the energy game probably for about 15 years, all in all, since I moved over actually from London in 2007. Got into solar slowly. Probably the first year was actually around 2009 when I was working for a sales and marketing company. We were actually same sales and marketing company that you work for, Roshan Smart Group. We touched on solar for a little while, and then probably around that 2014 2015 mark, I actually started working for Energy Matters in its old form as the general manager, looking after the residential and commercial sales for the business. And was there, had a great time, worked for the business for about 5 years. And then when parted ways, I decided to start my own renewable and energy efficiency business, which is Elite Smart Energy Solutions, which started in January 2019. So been going for over 3 years now. Started off predominantly with residential solar, and just had one sales guy actually that we started with, and then we sort of grew that over the years, and then we started getting involved with the VEU, the Victorian Energy Upgrade Scheme. So it complemented obviously the solar pretty well. And here we are today, and we've got a pretty big team here in Australia and overseas, focusing on a lot of Victoria is probably our main sort of geographical location that we're focusing on, but we also do touch in other states, especially around the solar side of things.
No, good stuff. I mean, Elite seems to be going like an absolute powerhouse today. I mean, I remember when you first started there, and obviously, you've got a great team, but really the momentum that's building is phenomenal. I mean, would you say a key driver to that is just, the VU program and obviously home and the devices and the different sort of solutions being offered to customers? I mean, what's the uptake like?
Yeah, I think I suppose the main point of differentiation between the Elite Smart Energy Solutions and maybe your average solar companies, we're working with sort of multiple solar companies across the country. We obviously look to find the best possible solution for the customer. So we have a wide range of products on offer, all the way from sort of your baseline product, all the way up to your more higher efficient panel, and obviously dealing with batteries as well. But yeah, getting obviously the solar side of things has always been sort of, I suppose, our bread and butter, and that's always been obviously my main experience. But certainly the Victorian Energy Upgrade Scheme has played a massive part, especially in the last 18 months, around replacing customers' inefficient lighting, shower heads, putting in a small device in their home, which actually allows them to monitor their energy usage. And the great thing, all of this stuff is completely free of charge for the customer. So, what we try and do is when we're meeting customers is give them that full end-to-end solution. So get the solar on their roof, allow them to monitor it, and look around their house at any other sort of, products that they've got that fall under the scheme where we can, that we can replace it. It was ultimately going to save them money and bring down the carbon emissions, and obviously help the rest of the country hit its target.
Which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, fundamentally, and you've obviously hit the nail on the head in terms of those differentiators. I mean, a lot of the solutions I've seen you guys deliver, really, it's like multiple products in one particular home. And what's fantastic about the VU program, and that's Victorian state government that supports that particular program, isn't it? I mean, that's just, you're obviously reducing customers' electricity bills, which is fantastic, and their carbon, and as you said, their carbon sort of, impact. And it's really those savings off that power bill that can then assist the cost of solar power. Do you find a lot of people that take up the VU program are moving into solar as well?
Yeah, look, absolutely. We run certain campaigns whereby once we get the customer, the LEDs replaced or an energy monitor, we will have a discussion with that customer at the time of the installation to look at. And the great thing is we're in the house, so we can and we've got their bill, so we can look at their bill and give them some sort of idea if solar is going to be a good idea for them or not. And then we obviously go back and work out the best possible solution for that customer that's going to complement obviously the other products that they got in their house and present that. So yeah, everything complements each other. If it might be we go in with solar to start with, and then we realise, hey, wait a minute, you've got your shower heads can be replaced to save money, or your LEDs can be replaced. Or this energy monitor is going to help you obviously manage your electricity, or it might be the other way around where we've installed those products and then we've noticed, hey, you look like a good candidate for solar, and have that conversation.
No, beautiful stuff. So just moving now onto the TV show, to Open Homes. Before I start peppering you with questions, we're just going to quickly watch the preview for this week's episode, which features a beautiful home in Hampton, which we'll talk about very shortly.
On this episode of Open Homes, James is in Manly to see a home with history.
In the back here is a big part of this home. It's the original shed of Mr. Taubman's.
A 10-star home in Adelaide. A home packed full of personality. A modern design in Melbourne. Dave Franklin shows us through another of his spectacular landscape transformations. And this absolute showstopper in Bayside, Brisbane.
Well, this is a really beautiful part of the world that I didn't really know about despite knowing Brisbane.
Come with us as we step inside.
There you go. So, Open Homes Australia, Stevie, you're about to become a TV celeb. I mean, first and foremost, did you enjoy what did you most enjoy about being on Open Homes?
Yeah, it was a really good opportunity to obviously talk about the different different things we've done in the house to obviously help bring down ultimately bring down the cost of energy, and obviously reduce the carbon emissions that we would be using. So look, in all, it was a great opportunity to showcase the house and show people out there that what you can do, and it's very affordable, especially in conjunction with obviously installing solar using the government rebates, and obviously making use of obviously the Victorian Energy Upgrades program, and actually getting stuff in your house replaced for free. So and it was a lovely sunny day as well. So the sun was shining, the solar was working well, the battery was getting charged, and it was just a good opportunity to, as I said, to showcase the house and talk a bit more in detail about how we've managed to get to that point and make it a very energy efficient house.
And you had some amazing technology in the home as well. I mean, you've got battery storage, but on the roof, and I suppose the most notable thing to mention on that is you're using Sunpower, which is
definitely
amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Most efficient.
Absolutely. So, when I was deciding what panels, what inverter, what battery to put on, it's easy sometimes to go, oh, let's go and look at what the cheapest option is. But for me, I wanted something that was going to be that's going to last me, pretty much the whole time I'm living in that house, and I'm not going to have any hassles. So the fact that you got that 25-year warranty. Sunpower's name speaks for itself. The panels look great on the roof. Not that you can see them, obviously walking past, but obviously from above, and I think they showcase that on open homes. You'll get an aerial view of the panels and how cool they look. And then when it came down to obviously the battery, we wanted something that was going to be that was going to charge and be able to store the energy and use it in the evenings and have enough. So it's a very large battery. It's a 16 kilowatt battery.
Wow.
It's done a great job. As I said, we walked into that house 6 years ago without any of this, and my bills were about $1,500 per quarter.
Wow.
And now, in the summer, my bills are pretty much zero. And then in the winter, probably a few $100. But all in all, it's, when you work it out for the year, I'm pretty much zero. I pretty much cancelled out my energy bill, which is great, having that sort of ultimately that energy independence to a certain degree.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you. I mean, utilising and fair play. First and foremost, respect to the state government over here, and obviously federal government in terms of the STC rebates. Although we always want the governments to do more, and they can obviously do more, especially at federal. But the fact is, utilising the rebates that are available to you has had you attack your bill from many different fronts. And as you said, by installing the LED lighting, the energy efficiency products, you've reduced your your usage, your consumption anyway. But then by having such a large solar system on that roof and battery technology, I mean, you literally are saving thousands of dollars every single year, which demonstrates on a return on investment conversation, you've actually made it work for you.
Oh, 100%. And also having the ability to be able to monitor the solar. So I have a couple of different monitoring devices in the home, including the free energy monitor offered under the Victorian Energy Efficiency Scheme, Energy Upgrade Scheme. And it's, although solar does, it does its thing, it's always good to be able to track to see where you're using the most electricity, and it makes you conscious about it and makes you want to switch off your lights before you go to bed, making sure that you're using the dishwashers at the right time of the day, the tumble dryers at the right time of the day, and being ultimately more conscious, because the more you're conscious about it, is the less energy you're going to use, and you can get rebates on your bill rather than actually getting a bill that says $200. There's been quarters where I've actually had rebates of $200-300, and that's because we've been really, really careful and use those monitoring devices to remind us of what you need to do to keep your energy bills low.
No, that's incredible. So, Stevie, a couple of questions just regarding the industry as it stands right now, and really from yourself personally, or not personally so much, but more so for Elite. I mean, what challenges are you facing at the moment as a business?
Look, the good thing at the moment is customers are still very, very interested in getting solar. There's definitely not a shortage of customers, jumping on and doing their research and inquiring. So that's good. What I suppose the biggest challenge for my business is actually having the quality of employees that are needed to obviously to maintain that customer service and that customer experience. We've got an amazing team here at Elite, but when it comes to sort of growing that team, certainly in the last 18 months, it has been a much bigger challenge for us. Without having, the injection of overseas students, which, by the way, is improving over the last month or so. So hopefully that will, move us to sort of growing the team, in the near future. Staffing is certainly a challenge, and always being able to keep up the customer service side of things, and that's imperative. If you look at Elite Smart Energy Solutions, we have a 4.7 Google rating with over 200 reviews.
That's exceptional.
For us, that's one of the most important aspects of the business. We're helping customers with a solution for their home, they're trusting us to actually come up with the right solution that's not going to come back and bite them in years to come. So we're very, very conscious about those ratings and the feedback that we get, and that's a challenge to always keep the customers happy at all times, and but we're doing a good job at it, and that's what we've just got to continue.
No, fantastic work, mate. And look, obviously, I suppose another question I have for you just regarding the technology itself. I mean, of course, I know batteries, you're a fan of batteries, otherwise you wouldn't have them. But what are your thoughts on electric vehicles? I mean, do you think now is the right time for EVs? Do you think they're going to take off in Australia?
Yeah, look, I think we're seeing a lot more electric vehicles on the road. A lot more manufacturers are making it more affordable. It used to be sort of just Tesla, BMW, but now a lot of the manufacturers are coming up with some really good options. So I think it's inevitable that everyone will start. There's probably there's the laggers, the people that just don't want to change. But like with anything, change takes time, and what we are seeing is an uptake which is sort of going upwards. And I think the more manufacturers that get involved, and the more people that are buying electric vehicles, it's just going to have that knock-on effect. Like with anything, and before we know it, everyone will be driving around in electric vehicles,
which will be absolutely fantastic. I know you're a fan of Porsche, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Taycan set in your driveway at some point in the near future.
Absolutely. As I said, there's a lot of manufacturers out there, but obviously, I am a bit of as you know, Roshan, a bit of a Porsche lover, but the electric vehicle Porsche, I've actually had a test drive. That's a great vehicle, and you never know, one day that may be sitting in the drive.
No, good man. All branded and elite, I hope. And
of course.
And Stevie, just on the industry itself, so for anyone looking to get, to sort of go solar, or to go, to take advantage of the VE programs, I mean, what sort of rebates and incentives are available in the areas that you install them?
Yeah, so look, in Victoria, there's a $1,400 rebate, a state rebate for the customer, which has been reducing over the years, but still very, very healthy. And also, there's the option to actually take a further $1,400 out as an interest-free loan, which you pay back directly to the Victorian state government, which is ultimately it's not an official loan. You're not having to go through a credit check or anything. It's pretty simple. You just need to qualify based on obviously your overall income and your and the value of your property.
Is that for batteries?
So both for solar and battery. So solar, it's $1,400. And then obviously there's a separate rebate, which is I think double of the residential rebate, which is great. So again, that's getting people more involved. And obviously, there's still the STC federal injection that's again been reducing over the last probably 5 or 6 years. But there's still plenty of time to take advantage of that on a 6.6 kilowatt system. You're still talking $2,500 from the federal STC, and then obviously you've got that further $1,400 on top for the VIC rebate, and then the further $1,400 for the state loan. So that's a considerable amount compared to what other countries around the world are offering. So it shows that Australia is still obviously leaders and obviously encouraging. So the state of Victoria is certainly still encouraging customers to go solar by throwing money at it. So which is very good. And obviously for the Victorian Energy Efficiency Program, as mentioned before, all those products are generally free of charge.
Which is amazing. I mean, that in itself is an incredible scheme. I mean, is there similar programs around the country, or is it just really Victoria?
No, there are similar. In New South Wales also have a very good program. There's a slight payment that the customer needs to pay. I think it's around $33 to have their LEDs replaced in their home. And there's actually the heat pumps. There's going to be a subsidy also for heat pumps in New South Wales, which is been announced, and pretty much will start seeing some activity in that around late April and May, meaning customers can replace their inefficient heat pumps. for pretty much minimal spend. And across the country, obviously you've got South Australia. They also have a smaller scheme. We're not too involved with that ourselves, but again, there's a lot of companies that are. And what we see this as, every state is getting involved with obviously trying to do their thing. Some more than others, but as a whole, customers can certainly check out the websites in the different states to work out what is available and how they can go about applying.
No, fantastic. And, really on affordability, I mean, you've obviously been very clear and covered off in detail really what sort of rebates and incentives are available, and the green loan being offered by the Victorian state government once again helps customers with their affordability. There obviously still is a balance. If they want to go solar, there still is some excess that they need to cover. I mean, are there do you guys offer sort of flexible payment options? Are there sort of different sort of payment schemes available to customers to help them with their affordability?
Absolutely. So as you said, after the rebates have been taken off, there is still an out-of-pocket for the customer. But there are finance companies that we work with and other companies across the country work with that make it very easy for the customers to finance that out-of-pocket with a very low, affordable monthly payment. And some of them are interest free, and some of them are just a very low interest rate. So most companies will have a couple of options for the customer, but ultimately what we try and do is offset the customer's savings that they're making on their solar and try and match that to around what their payment is. So really what the ultimate goal for that customer is to really walk away with a solar system and not really be too much out of pocket. So it's not an additional spend to their already, it's not an additional spend that they're going to have to fork out for. And then once that system and that, that small loan has been paid off, they're going to reap the full rewards of that system for a very long time, really, a minimum of 25 years. Solar systems and panels and inverters are pretty good these days, and they last a long time. So really, if you're getting your return on investment in that sort of first, 4 or 5 years, it's pure savings thereafter.
Yeah, which is absolutely fantastic. Stevie, what moving towards the zero carbon future, as Energy Matters, we believe in a zero carbon future, and we're a massive stand for it. I mean, what would you say, what small changes can people make at home to move us towards a zero carbon future? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, look, as mentioned before, I think the being able and being conscious of what you're using with your energy, and and that's something that's easier said than done. And that's why when I mentioned earlier about this small monitoring device, which is free under the Victorian Energy Upgrade Scheme, you can set alerts that actually make you way more conscious about using things at certain times of the day. i.e., you'll start turning your lights off more when you see how much that's costing you. You'll start using that dishwasher at certain times of the day because you know it's more expensive than using it another time of the day. So consciously, if you're looking at that application each day, you're going to see obviously the changes that you need to make. Okay, so the app's not going to do it for you. You still need to physically go and make those changes, but what it's doing is bringing to your attention how much you're spending on energy and how you can reduce it, which is one way. Also, there are ways obviously as well of looking at the multiple energy companies out there at the moment offering some great rates. And we always say, make sure that you're looking at obviously all your options very regularly, because it's very competitive out there in the retail energy space. So always make sure you're looking for the best deal. But then there's around that leaving making sure that we're being more conscious about using water in unnecessarily, and making sure that you're as I said before with the water side of things, making sure you're looking into other options, which could be replacing your shower heads for the more energy efficient. So we mentioned earlier as well about the electric vehicles. Something that to consider when you're looking at buying your next car.
Absolutely.
look at what the option is for electric vehicle, because I believe there is a subsidy as well for electric vehicles.
There is.
Not again, so when you're looking at that car, that can help. And overall, look at obviously how much you're going to spend on the filling up that car with fuel versus charging it with the battery that you've bought and stored energy. And overall, over a 10-year period, that's going to save you a considerable amount of money as well. So
especially right now with 2 cents or $2 a litre, I mean, people are spending an absolute fortune on petrol.
Well, again, that's going to really bring to light, I think, people really sitting there going, right, okay, well, I was thinking about buying an electric vehicle in the next 2 or 3 years, but based on the current situation with the petrol, I wouldn't be surprised if customers are now bringing forward their purchases and looking at obviously ways they can get on that electric vehicle market, far sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's just now about availability, isn't it? I mean, there's still issues. Bless you. There's still issues with stock availability, with components, from overseas, and being able to put and I suppose once the vehicle's built, just logistics and transportation. So those.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about the what's it called, the challenges. That's one thing I've got to. That is certainly a challenge. The cost of the panels inverters is certainly got a bit more expensive in recent time, but even so, it's still an absolutely a great investment, whatever way you look at it. Because we were always, we were a little bit spoiled, I think, here in Australia with solar and our return on investment. But our return on investment, even with the increased prices of panels and inverters, and getting the stock from overseas, we're still probably one of the best. It's probably still one of the best investments in the world, solar here in Australia.
No, absolutely. So, Stevie, we're about to finish up. But I suppose the final question I always like to ask, and I'm really giving you the opportunity to be as shamelessly advertorial as you want. I mean, what's really next for ESES? I mean, what do you want anyone watching or listening today to know about the business and what's coming up?
Yeah, well, look, we are certainly expanding. We've slowly started to get into the SME market around the solar side of things. We're getting into the SME side of things for the VU program. There's a lot going on in New South Wales for their scheme, which I mentioned earlier, which we're getting involved with. We've already started to grow the team ready for that. So really sort of the main thing for us over the next sort of 12 months is really securing some extra team members that are going to be able to help build that over in New South Wales, and also ensure that we're keeping that quality side of things where it needs to be, and this time next year making sure that we've improved from the previous January.
Fantastic, man. Well, look, thank you very much for your time today and for joining me. It's been awesome having you on the show. And for anyone watching, definitely reach out to Steve directly or to his business, Elite Smart Energy Solutions. As you can see from today, there's just a wide range of solutions available for you via Elite here in Victoria, as well as soon New South Wales.
And I would say, just on top of that, I would say if there's anyone out there who's looking to get into, solar or getting into the VU program in Victoria or the energy efficiency program in New South Wales, feel free to reach out. We're always looking for new talent, and we'd love to talk to you.
There you go. Look, we're a recruitment channel as well.
I'll pay you later for that.
All right, good man. Alcohol will do fine. All right, thanks, Steve. We'll catch up soon.
No problems. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So before we finish up, just remember that you can get up to free solar quotes through Energy Matters on our website. So www.energymatters.com.au/solar quotes. And a free energy bill comparison. As Steve said, there's some great offers out there with energy retailers. They change really, really frequently. Literally every 6 months, you could have a different offer, at least every 12 months. So it's worth doing an energy comparison, we believe every 6 months, just to see what offers are out there. And look, feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn pages. For now, guys, thank you very much for listening and for watching. And we'll see you next time.